So I'm going to be reading for a friend who sent me her video, and she didn't want to read it herself, so I'm just going to read it word for word. I typed it down, so I have word for word what she said. When I was 3 years old, I moved in with my grandmother because my mom just had my brothers who were twins, and things became really overwhelming for her, so I moved in with my grandma. And I lived with my grandma until I was about 6, and I occasionally saw my parents, on the weekends and sometimes on the weekdays, but for the majority, I was with my grandmother. And then when I was 6, I moved back in with my family. And I saw my mom and my brothers and my sis and eventually my sister all the time. But my dad worked crazy hours, and by the time he got home, my siblings and I were already in bed. I saw him occasionally on the weekends, but I didn't really see him a lot. And when I was 8, he got deployed, so I didn't see him on Christmas. I didn't see him on my birthday, and I didn't see him for, any holidays or for any major events that were happening in my life, which really played a huge impact on me, because even though he was inconsistent throughout my whole life, somehow it affected me. I don't really know how to explain that. I don't know why, but it did. But I felt very depressed. I remember on Christmas morning, I didn't wake up until like 12:30, and I was 8. And when you're 8, you're so excited to wake up, and you just want to see what Santa brought you. But not me. I couldn't care less. And when my dad came back home, I would still check to see if he was still there. And when he left for work, I was worried that he wouldn't come back home. And after a while, I grew out of that phase and started to become really independent. I got my first job when I was 14, and ever since then, I've been working and I've been paying for my own things. And I've just been really independent. And I feel like that's because my dad was such an inconsistent role throughout my whole life that I just felt the need to be independent. My mom focused mainly on my brothers and my sister. When my dad played an inconsistent role, so I've always been independent from the beginning. And I feel now, as an almost adult, I need a lot of reassurance because I'm so used to inconsistency. So when I'm fully used to consistency, I'm like, okay, well, it's probably going to end soon. Something's going to happen. I've also noticed that when people try to take care of me or when people try to protect me, I instantly push them away because I'm so used to being independent. I feel like I don't even know what it's like to have someone try to take care of me. It's like foreign. So having my dad being inconsistent played a huge role on my life as an adult, and definitely as a child too. Because when you're, in middle school, you're worrying about what you're wearing, what you're doing that week, with your friends, but I was just really worried where my dad was. Like, I had so much anxiety about where my dad was. Is he at work? Is he coming home? I worry about my mom because I was like, well, what if my mom leaves with my dad? What if she takes my brother and sister and I have to go live with my grandma again? It's just a constant cycle of worrying. But once I hit that point of like 14 or 15, I finally became not so worried and just started worrying about myself. Now it's like I can't undo that because I've been so independent. So it definitely plays a huge role when you have parents who are inconsistent or who don't, oh my gosh, I'm not doing this video again, or who aren't as involved in your life as they should be. Alright, I'm just gonna start talking before I mess it up again.